So good evening, gentlemen. On behalf of the Village of Cary and the Board of Zoning, Planning and Appeals, I'd like to hereby call this meeting to order on this Thursday, July the 13th, at approximately 7:31 p.m. We have a full quorum of members, and at this time, I'd like to ask Mr. Simmons to please call the roll.
Sure. Commissioner Jasper?
Here.
Commissioner Kretschmer?
Here.
Commissioner O'Loughlin?
Here.
Commissioner Graziano?
Here.
Commissioner Pippin?
Here.
Commissioner Williams?
Here.
Chairman Cary?
Here. Thank you very much. Would you join us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. So, gentlemen, I think you're aware we haven't met for a little while. And for those of you that may or may not be aware, there was a change in the clerk status. Mrs. Rhodes is now the clerk. She's not here, and Mr. Simmons was kind enough to agree to take our minutes tonight. So thank you very much, Brian. We appreciate that. And in your package, gentlemen, I think you're aware we've got a couple of petitions tonight to review. They're rather straightforward. But before we get into that business, I just want to confirm with each of you that you received the package and you've had a chance to review our last meeting minutes. Mm-hmm. That would have been the hearing date of April the 27th, 2017. That's the last time we've met.
Yep.
So did anyone have any questions or comments around those meeting minutes?
Are you sure we had a full quorum that time?
Oh, wait a minute.
Because it seems like there were only 2 members here.
Everybody?
Yeah, I think that's...
Okay.
April 27th, I would not have been here.
Okay.
No, you were here, because we even remarked that this second time in a row we've had a full house.
Mm-hmm.
I thought.
Yeah, no, you were here.
I don't remember.
That was the Thursday following my procedure, and
Yeah, you were
Yeah,
here.
and you were
was I here?
And I
Okay.
remember giving you
All right,
some
well, see,
grief.
I was still tied up in all the drugs and everything.
Oh, that's
so.
why you didn't get into the minutes at all.
He's just sitting over going, yes.
It's good to me. Okay, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I'll second that motion.
Well, I think we need to do it this way, gentlemen. The chair will seek general consent to approve the minutes dated April the 27th, 2017.
I generally consent.
Consent.
I forgot. It's no longer a motion.
Thank you very much. All right, gentlemen. We have 2 petitions before us this evening. The way we have the order is that the first one's going to be for, not for Sage, just so you're aware, if you're going to go second, if that's okay. Okay. So the first one's going to be for a detached garage and conditional use. This is rather straightforward. As we traditionally do, Mr. Simmons will give us an overview of this particular petition. And then the way the process works, if you would like, you're welcome to address this board. We usually ask for comments from the audience. As you can see, there's not too many people assembled here. We review it, we take a vote, the vote is taken, and then it's delivered back to the elected officials. That's the process. Okay? So thank you. So with that, Mr. Simmons, I'll turn it over to you.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The request this evening, as mentioned, is for a conditional use for a detached garage. The subject property is located at 438 West Oriole Trail. The garage is proposed is to be located in the rear yard, located to the northwest of the existing home. There is a shed which is in that location now, which would be removed as part of the project. But the garage is proposed to be size of 16 by 22 feet, about 352 square feet in total area, and would meet the required setbacks for a detached structure. This shows elevations as far as the general design of the garage. It would have a width of, again, 16 feet that would front the roadway, and a depth of 22 feet. The height to the header would be 8 feet, and midpoint to the roof approximately 12 feet. Per the zoning ordinance requirements for accessory structure shown in this table here, a detached garage, the maximum floor area that's permitted by code is up to 600 square feet. So it would comply with the requirement at 352 square feet. And the maximum height for the garage would be 15 feet, so the structure would not exceed that requirement. With the proposed improvements, the lot coverage on the property would be increased to a little over 2,300 square feet, up to 33%, which is compliant with code as well. Zoning ordinance provides various standards that need to be met in order to approve a conditional use, which is summarized on the slide. In general, the use will not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, or general welfare. Not substantially diminish or impair values of property within the immediate vicinity, not impede the normal orderly development of surrounding properties, and consistent with the village's comprehensive plan. As mentioned in the staff report, the subject property is surrounded by other development or properties that are developed that have detached garages. Actually, several houses in both the east and west direction from the property have detached garages in their rear yards. So the proposed improvement is in keeping with the character of the locality. As a result, staff is recommending the ZPA this evening recommend approval of the following motion. Approval of a conditional use for detached garage for the property located at 438 West Oriole Trail, subject to the conditions in the report. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have, and the petitioners here as well to provide additional detail.
Thank you very much, Mr. Simmons. Gentlemen, questions for Mr. Simmons?
This is one of our typical straightforward, that neighborhood and adding a detached garage, which we've done here, many of these over the years. So, I have no questions.
So I believe it's Mr. Gates.
It's actually goals.
Okay, thank you. And because we do record who's speaking, so if you would be kind enough just to state your full name for the record.
Sure.
And it does get broadcasted on YouTube, so there might be people watching, so that's the other part of it, that they might want to know who you are, so that's why we're asking.
Address better.
Yeah, yeah.
My name is Daniel Goals.
Thank you very
Custom
much.
Garages and more.
Thank you. So we'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, they have a shed, a dilapidated shed, and I'm just removing that shed and putting the detached garage there. It's a 1.5 car garage. It's definitely two car garage deep, but gives him more garage space, and he wanted that too. And I'm going to be matching the house, I'm matching the siding, and I actually found something that was dead perfect. The shingles I'm going to match 100% too, and I actually grew up here, so I do everything I can to come back here. It's nice. My parents live here.
Good stuff. So gentlemen, questions for the petitioner?
Here.
No?
Why only a car and a half instead of 2 cars?
I asked. I actually bet and plead because it's
You have
my labor wise, it's the same. And he just
No, I just looking at the coverage and everything, it seems like a
they could get it in a
24 by
two-car without an issue.
22 would
I tried
still,
just for his resale value to
Yeah,
get a
resale
2-car,
value, yeah.
and he did not want to take up any more grass space.
Okay.
And they're Spanish folk too, so I'm dealing with the older son, and I just kept seeing the dad go, right here, right here, right here. It's still a nice size. It's a nice size.
Gentlemen, other questions for the petitioner? No? All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, gentlemen, I think you're precisely accurate, Frank. And just to be forthcoming with you, I was talking to Mr. Simmons before. This might fall into the category in the future, when the Unified Development Ordinance is fully completed, that this type of application may no longer require us to review it. And I think that's a good thing for the community. So with that said, unless you have any questions, Mr. Graziano?
no, just, this thing about requiring a special use, whatever, for a detached garage in an area where everybody in the world's got a detached garage has never made a whole lot of sense.
Well, that, and especially if it fits every other requirement, we're not asking.
Oh, yeah.
We're not asking for a variance on depth,
Right.
length.
Variance
height.
is something else.
Yeah, we're just
Detached
asking for-
garage, why?
Yeah.
Just,
I think we're all in the same place, and I think in a year's time from now that we may not be reviewing this type of case moving forward. So with that said, unless there's any other questions, gentlemen, I'll call this case. So The chair will entertain a motion to recommend to the Village Board of Trustees approval of a conditional use for a detached garage for the property located on 438 West Oriole Trail, subject to the following conditions. 1, the conditional use shall be granted for the property located at 438 West Oriole Trail.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you very much. So just want to double check, there's no other questions on the motion? Okay, Mr. Simmons.
Isn't the condition redundant?
Yes.
At least you got your answer.
Okay, I mean, we've done it before where we say specifically for Joe's martial arts
Yes.
class or whatever, not for the property.
Yeah.
Because it's for the property.
You guys brought up that two-car garage again. For the future, I would much rather build them a two-car garage just for resale value alone. And say I talked them into it, would that be possible? Just
Well,
so
we're
you-
allowing a variance for a detached garage as long as.
Thank you for your patience. And we'll turn it over to you.
Nick Alexander on behalf of Sage Products. In the interest of not belaboring the point, I do agree with Mr. Simmons that this is a housekeeping matter. As you all know, we've already begun construction, and in order to obtain a certificate of occupancy later this year, we will need to have all of the building on one lot. That's what we plan, that's what we'd like to do. So we'd ask that the petition be approved tonight.
Thank you very much. So, gentlemen, questions for Mr. Alexander? Yeah, I think we all agree with you, Mr. Alexander. This is rather straightforward. And with that, unless there's other questions, I'll call the case.
Make a motion to recommend approval of the final plat of subdivision for Sage Products.
I'll second it.
I think I have to make the motion.
No, you have
No,
to.
you can't make a
Can't make a
motion.
motion.
I can call,
You can request
You
a
can
motion.
request a motion, you can't make a motion unless you relieve yourself, remove yourself from the chair. I can talk tonight.
He's right. We're good.
You entertain a motion, we
right,
make the
and I
motion.
have to read it.
No, you don't have to. We can make the motion without you entertaining it.
All right.
We got enough entertainment tonight.
Apparently.
It's been a few months.
Yeah. We're just
A little
shaking out the
rusty.
rust. So I guess with that, Mr. Simmons.
Sure.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Kretschmer,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Commissioner Graziano,
Yes,
Commissioner Piven,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Jasper,
Yes.
Chairman Corey.
Yes. So, Mr. Alexander, you have a favorable approval. I know you're very familiar with the process at this point. I think the next meeting, if I'm understanding it correctly, is on or about August the...
We're taking them a fast track. We'll do it next week at the
Very
Village
good.
Board.
Okay. So we'll wish you continued success, and please extend our regards to your team,
Thank you.
and good luck.
Thank you.
All right. So, gentlemen, I would like some clarity around that, because now I have to admit to you, Mr. Graziano, I'm not exactly sure that last process that we just went through, if I was reading my rules correctly, if that, what we just talked about, I really would like to understand that a little bit better.
about making a motion or entertaining a motion?
So in other words, I would call entertaining, the chair would, and are we saying that that's not necessarily the established process?
No, I mean, the process in and of itself is you would entertain the motion
Yes.
and then we would make, but since we all know what the motion is already, because you already read it at the very beginning, you don't necessarily need to entertain the motion if Jim is willing or one of us is willing to make the motion prior to your entertaining the motion.
It's just a formality,
It's just a formality.
Yeah, I would say that's accurate, but it's just past pattern and practice is what I'm looking at, is that I typically say it twice.
You
So-
say it to call it and then you say
Yeah.
it to.
Yeah, okay, all right, because it has been a little while since we've been together. and-
Jim, let him entertain the motion in the future, will you?
No, no, no,
please?
no.
I'm not going to let him entertain a motion to adjourn either. How's that?
Oh. All right, Jim, over to you then, go ahead.
No, you already made the motion.
I made the motion.
Well, then someone's gonna need to second it.
I'll second.
There you go. Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much, gentlemen.